Hello Capricorn friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my March 2020 horoscope report for you. In this month, we've got a very exciting time. It's the astrological new year. So let me give you a rundown of the things we're going to discuss in this video. I'm going to go over the energies of the month and talk about how those are likely to affect Capricorn placements. We're going to talk about important dates to note. We're also going to talk about Saturn in Aquarius, and this is a big deal. Saturn is moving into a different sign whenever a planet that is an outer planet that takes a really long time to move around changes sign. It also moves into a different area of the chart, and it also affects people differently depending on where it is moving. So this is particularly relevant for Capricorns because Saturn has been in Capricorn. But Saturn's not done with Capricorn yet, and that's something that we're going to talk about because even though it's moving into Aquarius, it's not going to stay in Aquarius for very long. So we're going to get into all the details about that, which of you are in the clear as far as Saturn being done with you, and which of you still have some more work to do on the Saturn lines. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about has to do with the general tone of the month. I'm very excited to report that once again this month we actually have way more, well, not way more, but a good bit more sweet aspects compared to salty ones. And some can go either way. But whenever we have more sweet aspects, it does tend to bring more harmony in the stars because of the connections that the planets make to each other are, softer or sweeter. That's why I call them sweet aspects. So the good news for Capricorn is that most of the placements are in earth signs or water signs. And earth signs and water signs flow beautifully with Capricorn placements because Capricorn's an earth sign. We also have Mars continuing to move through Capricorn, which means that, there's an increase in ambition, in desire for productivity, in accomplishment, in zest, in drive, in trying to get things done. If you have to do your taxes or if you have to do any other project, you can have a lot of energy towards that this month. The emotional energies of Pisces are still present, and we still do have quite a bit of retrograde energy this month, and the whole month is really covered in retrograde energy because even though March 9th-ish, depending on your time zone, Mercury goes direct, it takes until March 30th for the whole kind of like Mercury hangover, we'll call it, Mercury retrograde hangover to recover and really have its full speed. So all of the things that we know about retrogrades, meaning going inward and backward, things from the past come up in a big way this month. Very, very important dates to note, March 30th through April 9th. Write them in your calendar, remember them. If you have anything important you have to do, making a huge decision, reading and signing a contract, asking for something from somebody, committing to something, moving, launching something, March 30th through April 9th is going to be the last string of open time for a while. And we only have a couple of more days this whole year where we're completely free of the retrograde energies because we've got 3 Mercury retrograde aspects this year. We've got 1 Venus retrograde and 1 Mars retrograde. And these aren't bad times. They don't have to be bad. It's just, it can bring confusion. It can bring a lack of clarity. It can bring, it's more of an energy of like going with the flow rather than pushing things forward. But if you still need to get things done, then you want to know about these dates because if you have to like bring these important things out in between these energies that are going inward and backward, like if you're trying to push out when the energy is going inward and backward, you want to take advantage of these open times. And March 30th through April 9th is that time. And the next time we're going to have is not going to be until the end of July. And that's still it's not as clear as this period of time. It's very much like dancing right a couple of days at the end of July. That's still very much cloaked in retrograde energy. So, and then Mars will be retrograde, and then we'll have another Mercury retrograde, and then Mars post-shadow transit will last all of the rest of 2020. So it's really important that you get your big things done if they are ready. Okay, so some other important dates to note. Oh wait, before we get there. Venus is also going to be bringing blessings now because it's going to be moving through Taurus. Taurus is a fellow earth sign. Venus rules love, beauty, and money. And Venus is going to have on March 8th, so we'll say like around March 4th through March 12th, you may see this manifestation because there's like a few days before and a few days after. That's kind of like the zone of when the manifestation could come. Venus combining with the planet Uranus It's going to bring surprises in love and money for many people. This can be jolts, like unwelcome jolts, a conflict in your relationship or some, a money surprise that's not good. But it can also bring a happy romantic surprise. It can bring a happy money surprise, money that comes out of the blue, winning money, getting money that, someone had due, like just coming to you and you're surprised by it. So look for that as an increased possibility. Look for surprises and look to be jolted. Hopefully it will be a good jolt. Okay, so Venus is going to be moving through Taurus, which means it's going to be making a trine, which is the most favorable aspect in all of astrology, to your Capricorn placements. So you've got Mars on your side this month, you've got Venus on your side this month, and this can bring any number of things, harmony in your personal relationships. It can bring good business news because of the energy of the past, love from the past, money from the past, work from the past, results or accomplishment from things you did in the past could come in now, or recognition. So, keep that tagline, the past, in with all of these things, because a lot of the things that occur are going to have some relationship to the past. There could be some brand new things, but the past energy is really going to dominate. If you have to do something new or something new comes to you anytime during the month, if you can wait till you get more towards the end of the month, you may have more clarity about it, okay? Because opportunities are likely to come this month, but you might not have the full story because of the retrograde. And a lot of times we see stars, when something comes in a retrograde, we're like, wow, I'm so sure about this. This feels so good. And then by the time it shifts phases, the planet shifts phases, it's either not relevant anymore, you don't care anymore, or some new information has come in that makes it obsolete. So just be wary of that. And if you can push off your decisions for a couple of weeks without losing out on anything, you might be able to see more clearly at the end of the month and the beginning of April. If you have to commit to something short-term or low stakes, this is one of the rules of retrograde. If it's low stakes, it doesn't matter. If you're going to buy something, spend money on something, and you have the money to lose and you don't care if you're not going to use that thing anymore or breaks or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's low stakes, okay? It's the bigger stakes things. If you're going to have to spend more money, if you're going to have to make a bigger commitment or a longer commitment, or you're going to have to sacrifice something in order to get whatever you're doing, those are the ones that you want to be more careful about, okay? The higher the stakes, the more you want to wait until out of the retrograde, if possible, if it's in your flow, in order to be able to see clearly. But it does look like a lot of opportunities for Capricorn are likely to come in. And we really need this, because I'm with you here. I have my moon in Capricorn, and with these eclipses, the eclipse took someone away from me that was of very, 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 very utmost importance in my life. And they're fierce, a lot of you are with me. We've been through a lot with this eclipse cycle being in the sign that's affecting us. So trauma, drama, loss, were a theme for Capricorn energies, especially earlier in the year, the end of 2019, the beginning of 2020, as that eclipse drama was really hot. Now in this time, as we're getting further from the eclipse hotspot and we're not quite into the summer or winter for you all down under, eclipse hotspot next, we're kind of in this little buffered, safer zone where you can kind of rest a little bit, relax a little bit, regroup a little bit. And if you are a Cap that goes, just overtime, like I am with my moon there, this is a really good opportunity to rest, to try to schedule yourself light, to schedule a little vacations, just schedule some artistic pursuits or something that's soft or light and not super stressful, and just enjoy the time and relax if it's possible. Because, there's another set of eclipses that's going to come and more changes are likely to come. So you're at this nice little kind of hopefully calm point in between the storms. And it is important to note, and I do want to make sure to mention that the eclipses have not only been difficult. There are a lot of sweet things, and I can list many, many, many sweet things that have happened in my life from those same eclipses that were so traumatic for me. So there's always this spectrum of highest to lowest that's at play with everything. And hopefully you've been able to see some of the good things of the eclipses too. But in any case, it doesn't matter at this point because it's like this little resting point. Okay, so what I want to talk about next is Saturn's movement into Aquarius. And it could be easy for you to think, with all of the excitement about Saturn moving signs, that Saturn is done with Capricorn placements. So I want to tell you who of us Saturn is done with and who of us Saturn is not done with, okay? Because there are 30 degrees in a sign, okay? So each planet moves through each sign, 0 degree, 1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degrees, all the way up to 29 degrees. And the length of the orbit of the planet determines how long it takes to move through those 30 degrees. Like the sun zips through in 30 days, 1 degree a day, okay? But Saturn takes 28 to 30 years to move through the whole zodiac. And so it takes years, like between 2.5 to 4-ish years in each sign. So, you know, when it's lurking around there, it's ingraining lessons, and it takes a while. So as Saturn gets into Aquarius, which happens this month in March, that's why I'm talking about it, it's only going to get up to 1 degree. It's going to go through 0 degrees of Aquarius, 1 degree of Aquarius, and then it's going to go retrograde. And it's going to go back into Capricorn. So it's going to go back to 25 degrees of Capricorn before it turns direct, and then eventually gets back through 0 degrees and 1 degrees of Aquarius again at the end of the year. But only 0 and 1 degree of Aquarius is going to be covered in the Saturn movement into Aquarius this year. So it's really important to note this. I'll talk about the 2 major reasons why. One is because if you're a Capricorn placement, you want to know if it's done. And if you are anywhere from 0 to 23 degrees of Capricorn, so basically the first 3 weeks and a couple of days of the sign, you're done, okay? Unless you have any other placements in Capricorn that you don't know about, which you would have to search for Run a Free Birth Chart online, and then just run the free birth chart and look for the Capricorn symbol, and then see what other planets you have in Capricorn, okay? This can help you expand your use of astrology, because if you only know your sun sign and we're talking about these transits, then you're only hearing about or thinking you're hearing about the transit to your sun sign or your moon sign or your rising sign. But you could, like I have 9 placements in Sagittarius. So anytime anything is relevant, making an angle to Sagittarius for better or worse, I'm like either in full glory or I'm just getting pounded, because it's, you know, there's so many things there to hit. So you definitely want to find out if you have any late degree Cap placements, like between, I'll say 24 degrees, but it's really only going to get back to 25 degrees. But those of you at 24 degrees, it's close enough that you'll get some whispers, okay? So 25 through 29 degrees of Cap, last 6 or so days of this sign for your sun. We still have another year, and I'm saying we because I have 29 degrees of Cap. So, yeah. So there's accomplishments, there's, you know, wonderful things that are going to happen from that, and there's probably some more work that has to be done, some more discipline that we have to apply, some more, you know, possibly challenges ahead for those at the end of the sign. Now, for the rest of you, you can do the happy dance because Saturn is done with you, and even though it may have brought good things, we know that it has been a heavy beast of ultimate proportions in many other ways, okay? So now I want to talk about this idea of Saturn moving into a different house when it changes signs, because this is going to be something else that you may be hearing about with other reports. I don't know what other people are saying. I don't listen to other people talking about astrology, but I'm assuming that you're going to be hearing about Saturn moving into Aquarius, and I'm assuming that people are going to be talking about how it's going to move into your money house, okay? This is true, but now we have to get into the important details. If you're looking at a whole house astrology chart, which is not the astrology I do, but I'm going to mention this, then from the whole house perspective, everyone in the Capricorn range is going to have some whisper or some suggestion or some storylines of Saturn moving into the house of money. And that is true. Whole house astrology is true at the same time as Placidus house astrology is true, which is what I do. In the Placidus house astrology, only the early degree Capricorns, so those of you right at the beginning of the sign, the first few days of the sign, are you going to really have strong influence in your second house, because the rest of you, Saturn's not going to move officially into the second house until 2021 because of this thing that I told you about, how Saturn moving in Aquarius, then going retrograde, then finally at the end of the year getting back into Aquarius, only getting up to 1 degree of Aquarius. It's not going to be cranking through that house for anybody. But All Capricorns may see themes of financial security coming, financial tests coming. If you have been living in a way that's unsustainable, Saturn is going to, over the next few years, and the suggestions and the storylines are going to get stronger now, Saturn is going to get you on the right track to experience the security that you want. But you may have to use the themes of Saturn: hard work, discipline, consistency, in order to get that security, okay? And if you're not living sustainably, this is really important to know, Saturn is going to test you, because Saturn puts pressure on things. It's like when you put pressure on something to see if it's going to crack, so that you know if you have to shore up the foundation. That's what's happening. You want, this transit between now and 2023 wants to help you be more streamlined with your finances, wants to help you be more efficient, more productive. It could see your finances increase dramatically, and Saturn can do that, okay? So Saturn influencing the second house can definitely bring you more money, and definitely bring you like more sure money, you know what I mean? Like not just Uranus type of money, like it comes out of the blue, it's there, it's gone. It's like you're building something. But again, all of this year, as far as like this transit goes of Saturn through the second house, unless you're right at the beginning, the first couple of degrees, the first couple of days of the Capricorn placement, you're not actually going to have this really cranking in your second house until starting in 2021. And those of you in the middle and later degree, this is going to go on from 2021 to 2023. All right, so this is just to kind of put it in perspective. The things they might be talking about may not really be coming up for you all for a while, depending on where your placement is. So let's talk about where Saturn is still going to be, because that is notable, okay? So before Saturn gets into the second house, it gets into the first house. So even you all, the first couple of days and degrees of the sign, you are still having the storyline very solidly in your first house. All Capricorns are still having Saturn in the first house as a strong theme for all the rest of 2020. And what does that mean? The first house is a foundational house. It's like the energy of a baby. And in the chart, it does show the time when you were a baby, chronologically. So anything that went awry when you were a child, anything that wasn't quite, set, this transit brings up those foundational issues. If you're seeing patterns in your life, patterns with your finances, patterns with your health, patterns with your relationships, there likely was an origin at that time in your first years, in the womb even, of something that your mother was going through, that you were experiencing, and it's projecting the pattern out now. So before you get to the whole like money and stuff house, Saturn wants to shore up you, You can do better with your money when your self-esteem is intact. You can do better with your money if you're not sabotaging yourself. You can earn more if you are more aware of your worth. You can earn more if you get a solid foundation in what it is that you're working, doing work with. Things like that. So Saturn for the rest of this year, for Capricorns, even if it's not hitting your placement exactly, it's still very much about shoring up a foundation with your self-esteem, your certainty, and looking for places where you might be going the 9 yards where it might not be serving you anymore. This is a really big deal for Capricorns, because we tend to do this overdo, over-accomplish, proving ourselves over and over and over again, chasing the letters behind the name, chasing the, accomplishments in the material realm as a means to heal certain things that weren't, solid from childhood. Now, some of it is just the chasing of destiny, and we're destined to be accomplished, and that is also true. But there's a different energy to it when you're following destiny and you don't have like a lot wrapped up into it, where if it doesn't work out that you feel bad. You see what I'm saying? This is a really fine line here, and this is subtle, but this is very critical to this placement that's going to be dominating for the rest of the year. Okay, and this also can have to do with health practices, including the management of stress. Stress is a problem for pretty much all humans, but people that have Capricorn placements, we're ruled by Saturn, and Saturn has a ruler, means you've got like this major Saturn transit your whole life. So like hard work, keep having to do it, nose to the grindstone. It's just this constant still have to do this work, have to work, right? And whether your work is in the home, whether it's your family work, whether it doesn't matter. It's just the point. So stress, usually Capricorn placements have a super high stress tolerance. And these are the type of people that you want in like a stressful situation where they just kind of take charge and get everything done. But it's hard sometimes for people with these placements to know, for you to know when like the stress is too much. And sometimes it's only after like a health crisis or something happens to someone else that you know that wakes you up. But part of what Saturn wants to do in this house is to help you become aware of how stress is affecting your body, help you heal the ways where this has created a problem or contributed to a problem in your body, and how you can heal it and how you can manage your stress better and reduce unnecessary stress. So for the rest of this year, especially with the energy of the retrogrades, I love retrogrades for exactly what Capricorn is supposed to be doing. Assess your stress levels, assess the things that are stressing you. Figure out what things you can take off your plate. And one of the biggest factors going to be is healing your trauma and the fight or flight. Because if you have unresolved, like addictive fight or flight, and the body does get addicted to the cascade of neurotransmitters that go on with fight or flight, which most of you probably are dealing with. So if you don't heal that, then you will be a beacon attracting more things to fight or flight about. Okay, so healing the pattern is super helpful. And I have to say that with the trauma that I went through with the eclipses, I was suffering tremendously. It was really, really, really hard. And then I had an NLP session, neuro-linguistic programming. You can just search for NLP. And it helped me so much to get back to, it doesn't take what happened away. It doesn't change the fact that I remember it. But the stability of my being from having gone through something very difficult was almost immediately healed. And deeper work for other issues related to what I'm talking about were just healed, and then changes occurred. So I want to really encourage you to look into resources like NLP, like EMDR, things that heal trauma. You might need help from a nutritionist where you are supplementing things for your adrenals or your nervous system. The nervous system and the adrenal system are complicated. These are all complicated, and it might not be as easy as taking one supplement. So I encourage you to get the help from a professional to tie in things together for you. Okay, so in general, I'm super excited about this month. Rest and relief, very likely. Some emotions, ours or others, that we have to deal with, which may or may not be welcome because, Capricorn energy is not super emotional, and that Pisces energy is still going to be bringing in a time for emotion. But it is a good time to heal. It is a good time to relax. It is a good time to get involved in quiet personal pursuits, I call them. Anything with spiritual work, quiet, meditative work, getting with the theme of mastering your mind, mastering your body, diet changes, exercise changes, reduction of stress. Overall, tons of blessings as we have lots of energy in Capricorn and Venus moving through Taurus, which is going to give kisses to all your placements. If you have to make your big decisions, possibly the end of the month may be better for that when you have more clarity. So just enjoy the ride, enjoy what blessings may come from the past, and I hope that it's a super wonderful month for you, for me too. So if you want more information on how you can use astrology to help you, I have a massive amount of free resources on my 2 websites, plus my YouTube channel. So if you go to AnnieHelpsYou.com, I have lots of blogs there. You want to start getting prepped for Venus retrograde. That's going to be happening soon. That energy is going to start up in April. I have so many resources on Venus retrograde. It's crazy. You can see them at that site, AnnieHelpsYou.com. If you want to learn astrology, if you want to learn to use this for other people as your profession or just to help yourself and others that you know as friends and family, you will love my Becoming a Professional Astrologer course. You can see that at AnnieHelpsYou.com, or you can go to LUMLife.com to see my whole school, Luminous Life Multiversity, LUME life.com. You can see all of these websites in the notes underneath the video as well. Also go to cozybysweetstarlight.com to get my written horoscopes for you 1 month early, and all kinds of other fun blogs, tea blends for the different signs, maximizing the sun's movement through the different signs. We've got yoga for the different signs. There's healthy lifestyle recipes and things. It's a beautiful, beautiful site. So definitely go see cozybysweetstarlight.com. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.